Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ridwanullah family. Welcome back to another episode of Ridwanullah TV Life Maximization Show. I'm your host, Life and Business Maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, working to help you completely maximize your life and business in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, in today's episode, I wanted to kind of reflect on the new year that's coming up, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Some of the ways to plan and prepare for it and not to repeat the same mistakes, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So that's what I wanted to talk about because it's crucial for us, for me, for you to reflect on what have you done in the past year? How do you plan on what are the failures? What are the successes that you've achieved in the past year? What are the failures that you've had? How can you continue the success and learn from the failures? How can you plan and prepare accordingly? How can you not repeat the same mistakes and filling a life full of regret? Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, it's extraordinarily important for us to pause and reflect on that for a moment. And for me personally, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, I struggle with using a different year than the Hijri year, but you really have to adjust and adapt to the current situation that we're in. I wish I could still be on the Hijri calendar. For me, that makes a lot more sense. It feels a lot better. For some reason, all of the systems and everything else is set up a little bit different. That makes it extremely difficult to be on that system, but I guess it is what it is, and we're gonna continue to do what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has allowed us to do. So, as I was thinking, what are the topics that we can talk about today? I really like to talk about something that I learned from, something that I know of, something that has helped me, something that benefited me, or something that I've had a lot of pain in and somehow figured out to overcome it. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So as you're watching this show, this episode, I want you to ponder these questions and ask yourself some of these very, very important questions. And we're going to start off in the big picture stuff, and then inshallah we're going to get into a little bit of the details. And in that process, I want you to really think. I want you to really explore a couple of options along with me, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, for you. And I'll start off with me, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and as I'm talking about myself, in essence, as I'm talking about myself and helping myself, this is directly meant for you. And I wanted to give you guys just a couple of reflection points to think about what it is that we're here to do, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So the objective of this video is to help you ponder your year, to continue building on the current success that you have, and to learn from the failures that you've encountered throughout this whole process of maximizing either your life and or business. And the reason why it's important for us to ponder this is because year after year we're going through this cycle every year. And sadly, a lot of us, including myself, we're not progressing forward. We're not taking the proper steps to literally and drastically or even minimally improve our lives or businesses, whether that means, doing something different, testing out something new, repeating the same things, taking your goals and dreams and actually implementing them. And the most important aspect of it is our deen, right? So we want to be able to overcome this cycle of failure. Every single day we're going through this whole process that we are experiencing the same thing year after year. And sadly, forget getting better, most of us are getting worse year after year. And whenever I either train or coach individuals personally or professionally, what I realize is the biggest frustration is that year after year nothing is moving, or at least that's what it seems like. And we want to be able to avoid that. So in order for you to avoid it, you have literally a couple of weeks before the new year starts. So it is time to pause, put on the brakes, As you're trying to finish off strong, that's where the paradox is, the contradiction, it seems like. So as you are mentally focused on finishing this year off strong, on the flip side, take a few moments to take a break, to reflect and ask yourself some of these questions, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So we want to be able to, avoid the pain, continue on some level of success, and work on achieving some level of traction, meaning progress in our lives and or businesses, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And this particular show is specifically designed for the life. So pausing and reflecting is going to serve you a lot. And, I know it served me a great deal. And by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I've been doing my quarterly retreats for about, as long as I've been married, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, which is about 7 years now. Glory be to God. And one of the things that I've realized is every 3 months I take a week off. And at the end of the year, I take 2 weeks off. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And it takes time for me to see, am I on the straight path? And, am I headed in the right direction? That's the first question. Overall, deen-wise, and specifically the other goals that I have, am I on track with my deen goals? Am I on track with my health and fitness goals? Am I on track with, my neatness and abundance goals? Am I on track with my adventure, my quarterly retreats goals? Am I on track with, with my family and relatives, my relationships? Am I on track with my finance and work? Am I on track with contribution to our ummah and world? These are the types of questions that I ask myself. And the second the second layer of that I ask myself is, am I gaining closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or am I gaining farther away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So before I dive into the questions, let me just share with you the seven complete outcomes of life. The first one is your closeness to and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second outcome and this is all of the outcomes that we're after. Any goal that you have falls under one of these 7 categories. So the first one is our closeness to and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Reflecting on that for a little bit. The second question is our health and fitness. Where are we health-wise, and our fitness, and everything else that you could imagine? And then third is our neatness and abundance, right? So in terms of our belongings, where are we with that? And then the fourth outcome that we're after is adventure and fun, right? Just being able to travel, take quarterly retreats, or whatever it may be that suits you best. So it's important to think about that. Then the fifth one, I believe, is our love and family and relatives, our love and unity with our family and relatives. And then the fourth one is our freedom and the sixth one, actually, I should say, is our freedom and wealth. And then 7, last but not least, is our love and unity within our ummah and world. So as you're winding down this year, you need to take inventory of those 7 categories of your life to be able to start understanding the nature and the reality of where you actually need and want to be overall, how far you have come, and how far is left for you to achieve your goals and dreams. Sadly, a lot of us do not even have the time to ponder that because we never make the time. We're just so busy with life, school, work, children, family, deen, first and foremost, contribution within our communities and community work, and everything else that you can imagine and everything in between. So take time to ponder that. Take time to understand those different areas of your life. And that's the thing that I've been doing, one way or the other, in one quality or the other for about the past 7 years now, since 2013. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I should say end of 2012, but it's important, extremely important for us to be able to ponder that, to be quite honest with you. And, for me, it's a little bit hectic because I was used to being on the Hijri calendar system, which was a 45-week year productivity system for me. But after getting into a little bit of business and seeing how things are completely set up a little bit different, I had to switch to the Gregorian calendar, which is a 47-week year productivity system for me. And it's just important to be able to focus on that, to be able to have an actual system that actually works for you, and stop repeating the same mistakes. You know what I mean, and build on the success that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has blessed you with. As you're figuring out all of these different elements in your life, and you're trying your absolute best to make it, the absolute best, in all areas of your life. It's important, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, to take moments like this and pause and reflect a couple of hours, at the very least a couple of days, if you can, and maybe at least a week or more, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever you can afford, on a regular continuous basis. Pause and reflect and ask yourself a lot of these questions that I went through. And subhanallah, when I started this, I started to learn that there were patterns in my life that were reoccurring every 3 months. And I realized one of the biggest realizations that I've had, to be quite honest with you, is that what I'm telling you to do is basically take your quarterly retreats. And at the end of the year, to really reflect on the year as well, you're going to take the same things that you're doing on a quarterly basis, and then you're going to apply it to the year. And for me, one of the things that kept coming up, or I should say, there was something that just kept coming up over and over again. And, I realized, like, subhanallah, we are creatures of habit. And I really have to figure out how to make reflection a habit so I could break these bad habits. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So continuously ponder for yourself. Look at the realities that you're living in. How can you adjust and adapt a lot of these things that you're going through and or growing through? But just take a few moments to reflect and correct, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, before the year ends. And start the new year on a good note, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, and continuously work on personally and professionally developing yourself and your loved ones and everybody else that you could think about. And keep working hard, keep trying. You're gonna fail every single day. You're gonna start succeeding minimally, and hopefully throughout time your failures will be able to diminish, and then your successes will continue to increase, not only in this dunya but more importantly in the akhirah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And continuously work on that, continuously develop yourself, continuously improve. It's life. Nobody has it perfect. You continuously work on that. My son just woke up, so I gotta attend to him. But I think I left you guys with enough to be able to think about that, to be able to reflect and ponder, because in the next 2 weeks, December 23rd till, well, actually 2 weeks after, so December 23rd till January 5th, I'll be taking my 4th quarter Ridwanullah retreat. And a lot of these questions is what I ponder and think about for a little while. So, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So I hope that you ponder the same thing and continuously maximize your life fi dunya wal akhirah. I truly appreciate you tuning in to Ridwanullah TV Life Maximization Show. And my challenge to you is to assess your life. That's what I would leave with you. And if you accept that challenge, leave it in the comments below. And really appreciate your love and support for everything that you guys have blessed me with and sticking with me throughout all these years. If you're new to the channel, please press the subscribe button. And if you've liked this video, please press the like button. That'll help us grow. And leave your comments below and share it with somebody that could use this point of reflection, these points and these questions that'll help them, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And that's all I got to say for right now. Jazakumullahu khair, Ridwanullah family, for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV Life Maximization Show. I'm your host, Life and Business Maximizer, Hussein Mohamud, checking out by saying, never ever give up on completely maximizing your life in business in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.